9/11 and the Israeli bomb expert infiltrated art groups.
Gelatin and E-Team.
I want to call your attention to the artist groups who were selected to be part of the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council Worldviews, studioscape programs that allowed them and other artists to work and live in the WTC in the 4 years leading up to
September 11.
on different floors, including 91 and 92 of the North Tower. Additionally, they were given 7-day-a-week construction access to the WTC that allowed them to freely move all sorts of materials in and out of the complex. In early 2000, an Austrian art group was working on an art project which they called the B Thing, which was to create a balcony off the 91st floor of WTC-1. During this project, almost the entire 91st floor of WTC-1 was filled with empty boxes, which are all marked with BB 88 inches, which just so happens to correspond with a specific and interesting product. Anyways, just prior to 9/11, Gelatin then releases a rather fucked up and horribly drawn art book about their project,
The B Thing,
which contains some odd and quite in-your-face imagery, including a drawing of someone falling from the towers with the caption, 300 meters of pure pleasure, an image of the tower being destroyed with the caption, depression inside, amazement outside, and even a picture of the towers with a line above them and the caption, last chance to open a parachute. The book itself is
$3,000.
isn't meant to the common man to see. Project description comparison. E-Team. In quick click, we took pictures of people standing in one window on the 91st floor who, in turn, looked out at the New York City landscape. Once the helicopter hovered in front of the 91st floor, people stepped into the lit window and had their picture taken. Gelatin. Using building site refuse they had tediously smuggled into the building under their pullovers, they constructed a functioning load-bearing balcony. Then they extracted it using suction pads, shunted the balcony out, posed on it at 6 in the morning and had themselves photographed there from a helicopter for their nearest and dearest back home. Kinda odd how similar a lot of aspects of these art projects groups are. It just all seems too weird to me. And that's without factoring in that these artists were being tracked by the DIA prior to 9/11 and tie in with urban moving systems who had multiple people arrested on 9/11 and were deported back to Israel, where they stated they were there to document the event.
Right now. Hold on, people are running.
Hold on just a moment. We've got an explosion inside.
The building's exploding right now. You got people running up the street.
Okay.
Hold on, what's going on?
August 18th, 2001. Just 24 days before the terror attacks of September 11th. The New York Times ran an article called Balcony Scene or Unseen. Episode at Trade Center assumes mythic qualities. The article profiled Gelatin, a group of subversive Austrian artists who were interviewed about their covertly installed art exhibit in Tower 1 of the World Trade Center. The group's members are Wolfgang Gantner, Florian Reither, Ali Janka, and Tobias Urban. Gelatin called their art project the B Thing. The team removed windows on the 91st floor of the North Tower and constructed a small, cantilevered balcony for people to pose on, as their photographs were taken by a helicopter that orbited the skyscrapers. On December 1st, 2010, one of Gelatin's members, Florian Reitner, gave a lecture where he described the events of the project in greater detail.
We decided this is what we need. And then to stand on and like to be outside. We painted this facade gray to make it very invisible.
The stunt took place on March 31st, 2000. a year and a half before 9/11, and lasted for 20 minutes. Gelatin gained access not just to one World Trade Center, but the entire World Trade Center complex by obtaining temporary construction passes through the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council's Open Studios for Worldviews program, which, according to their website, offered studio space to artists out in the 90th and 91st floors of the North Tower. Although this art project seems to be a publicity stunt, and the artists were originally quite eager to divulge information about the bee thing, including posing for photographs, their openness suddenly ceased, and the artists came to believe that it was dangerous to talk to reporters about it. They became secretive, and defensive, and opaque. The article insinuates that the art project was shrouded in suspicious activity. Their dealer, who witnesses say watched the event from a hotel suite, now claims it never happened. Either the balcony was an elaborate hoax meant to look real, or the inverse is true. It really happened, and the closer it comes to being found out, the more those involved would prefer for everyone to think it was a hoax. One of the four so-called artists, Ollie Jenka, even called the New York Times reporters several times to protest the publication of their article. Although Gelatin received most of the credit for this bizarre undertaking, the event was a collaboration between Gelatin, who handled the balcony portion of the operation, and a group called E-Team, who managed the helicopter portion.
Next, okay. That was for you then. Next.
E-Team was comprised of Franziska Lamprecht, Hajo Modregger, and Daniel Siepel.
Okay, they're coming. Okay, I just announced you that you're coming close.
On February 28, 2002, the International Foundation of Art Research hosted a symposium called September 11th, Art Loss, Damage, and Repercussions. The director of Visual and Media Arts for the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council, Mukhtar Kokachi, published an essay entitled The Artist's Residency Program in the Twin Towers. Kokachi paid his respects to what the foundation lost on 9/11. He then briefly discussed the enigmatic E-Team. A project by the name E-Team also dealt with the building itself.
Over here, and the first step in this window, get the picture taken, and you're gonna see, you're gonna hear, and everything's okay. Then step away to the right side, leave it through this side over here, and the next one can enter. But like as many as possible to get that picture taken.
In quick click, the E-Team attempted to make photographic portraits of people in the studio from a helicopter that was hovering outside the building. 2 members of the E-Team were in the helicopter. Another in the studio space, and people were lined up along the windows to have their portraits taken. Just to clarify, we have one event going by 2 different names with 2 different groups. Gelatin called this event the Bee Thing, while E-Team called the event Quick Click. When pressed for more details, Gelatin and their art dealer both emphatically denied the event took place and harassed journalists who were writing a story about them. According to an article published by Truth Alliance, Mukhtar Kokachi, the director of the studio program, insisted that the photos of the balcony were obviously faked. But digital manipulation experts disagreed. George Dash, the co-owner of Nucleus Imaging on East 30th Street, and a colleague, John Grasso, used magnifying loops to examine a copy of the Bee Thing. Neither could detect inconsistencies. The angles are all too perfect, Mr. Grasso said. It looks real to me, absolutely. I've been doing this for 22 years. In his essay, Kokachi also discussed another project that E-Team carried out in March of 2001, called 127 Windows. He said, quote, in another project, the E-Team attempted to write their names on the exterior of the towers themselves. He referenced Figure 2, which portrays an artist's rendering of what the project was supposed to look like. Just 6 months later, Flight 11 would crash into the exact spot between floors 93 and 99. E-Team publicly released their footage of Quick Click, aka the Bee Thing, wherein we can clearly see the helicopter crew wearing hats that featured the group's name. The people wearing E-Team hats are the same people featured in E-Team's profile on travelhome.org, corroborating that this footage is authentic. The helicopter that the E-Team flew in was owned by Liberty Helicopters, which still offers tours of New York City to the present. From the video, we can read that the model number is N666LH. The text at the opening of the film reads, "The E-Team will hover for 20 minutes in front of the 91st floor of World Trade Center 1 to take your picture in the Quick Click window. You can come back the next day and pick up your free Quick Click picture on the E-Team tower."
You gotta get a shot in your glasses. You guys got Photoshop anyhow, right?
Although the team promised to provide participants with the photographs, many assert that the participants were denied their pictures when they dropped by to pick them up. A well-known internet entrepreneur named Josh Harris, once worth $95 million, explained that he joined the group after he was introduced to gelatin through their art dealer, 24-year-old Leo Koenig. Harris told the Times that the night before the Bee Thing, he rented a top-floor suite at the Millennium Hilton, across the street from the gelatin studio, and invited people to what guests describe as a night of decadence. Near dawn, he and several others took cameras and boarded a helicopter, communicating with gelatin via a cell phone. As of 2016, Harris told the Daily Mail that he believes he is under FBI surveillance for his involvement in the Bee Thing. A female artist who knew about the Bee Thing in its early planning phase, Maria Hasavi, spent time on the 91st floor while gelatin was constructing the balcony as well as watching the stunt as it was pulled off live. She detailed her account for Spike magazine in the spring of 2020. Her testimony, if true, adds a key piece of enigmatic evidence to the story. Oddly enough, the helicopter and hotel photos were meant to serve as exhibition materials for Gelatin's show at Leo Koenig Gallery the following year. Whether by coincidence or some unnameable cosmic force, the opening day of the exhibition was September 11th, 2001. This is corroborated by an article that was printed in December 2001 in a special issue of Artforum magazine. After a certain number of coincidences, even the staunchest skeptic must concede that something bizarre was afoot. Some believe that Edna Kintron, one of the infamous victims who was trapped and waving for help from the windows near the crash site, can be seen in the gelatin video at 9/11. Why did Gelatin initially give public interviews about the Bee Thing before suddenly denying their involvement? Why did their art dealer deny that it even happened? Despite photographic and video proof, one line of reasoning leads us to the conclusion that the artists simply didn't want the authorities to learn their identities and press criminal charges. Another line leads us down a deep, dark rabbit hole. Shortly after their crime, Gelatin published a 62-page book on the stunt, which featured behind-the-scenes photographs, pictures of the artists, and an array of disturbing hand-drawn images. New copies of the book are selling for $999, while second-hand copies are going for nearly $3,000 on Amazon. It's safe to assume this book is not intended for widespread distribution. According to the August 2001 article, the book is demure to the point of being oblique. What little explanation it contains appears to have been scribbled in ballpoint. Among the photos and schematic drawings, there are doodles of tarantulas with human heads. The book introduction reads, "Nobody, including the other artist sharing the same studio space, knew anything about their plans." We can observe from the photographs that the 91st floor was unfinished, which means the internal steel girders of the building were accessible to Gelatin. According to Simon Aldridge, an artist who worked there until the towers were destroyed, the beams were exposed, and there were no walls. Those floors had never been occupied before. Gelatin filled the entire floor with cardboard boxes tightly stacked to the ceiling. We can clearly read BB-18 on all the boxes. BB-18 happens to be the model number for a fuse holder accessory manufactured by a company called Little Fuse. According to Florian Reitner, the team just happened to find all the boxes folded up and decided to use them for privacy. However, if there really were fuse holders in those boxes, there would likely be tens of thousands of them. There is fierce debate online whether these accessories are even capable of being used to detonate explosives. But the jury's out. The word fuse can refer to two separate and unrelated devices. An electrical fuse protects from surging or overpowering, while a demolition fuse is a wire or cable that acts as a catalyst for a volatile chemical reaction, usually resulting in an explosion. However, some have pointed out that C4 can use an electric charge to detonate. On the other hand, some assert there is likely no need for fuse holders, which protect from electrical surges when demolishing a building. It's worth noting that many believe the group's name Gelatin is a reference to the explosive device of the same name. Invented in 1875, gelignite is a sticky bomb that is used in construction and mining operations. It's also referred to as blasting gelatin or jelly, and it cannot be used without a detonator. Many believe B-Thing and gelatin combined could refer to blasting gelatin. Furthermore, E-Team could have referred to explosive team. Proponents of this theory point out that the group Gelatin officially changed the spelling of their name to Gelitin in 2005, perhaps to make the association less obvious. Some call the B-Thing book The Smoking Gun. It depicts dozens of disturbing drawings, including someone falling headfirst from the 91st floor with the words, 300 meters of pure pleasure. Another excerpt reads, "Nobody but Gelatin is officially involved into the project. There will be an attorney telling Gelatin how to behave. There will be an attorney responsible to handle the case for Gelatin." On their website, Gelatin once featured a still frame of firefighters walking past gutless dummies in still frames that matched the dimensions of the World Trade Center windows. The still image is from real footage taken by Jules Naudet. Until recently, the Naudet film was believed to be the only footage of the first plane hitting the World Trade Center. The film has been analyzed meticulously by thousands of internet sleuths and is widely believed to have been staged to look accidental or lucky. Thanks to a Freedom of Information Act request, the public gained access to additional footage of the same framed dummies. Only this time they were located outside the World Trade Center at ground level. Why would Gelatin deliberately associate their so-called art project with the terror attacks of 9/11? Isn't that disrespectful to the victims, at the very least? What compelled them to use this image specifically? Why were these life-sized human dummies important enough for the group to include on their website? And why didn't they bother offering an explanation? Were Gelatin and E-Team involved in the preparation of the false flag attack on the World Trade Center? Many believe that they used coded language and images to announce their plans and later boast their success. Because their works are left open to interpretation, it affords them plausible deniability. However, the fact that the 9/11 Commission report does not mention Gelatin or E-Team only adds to the suspicion. Because there are plenty of red flags and questions raised, the deeper one digs into this topic. On Gelatin's own website, they reflect on the B-Thing with an unsettling choice of words, describing their project as conspiratorial work. They kept very mum about it all, because if word had crept out about their coup, They could have been fined very heavily for sabotaging a national treasure. Although Gelatin's art group consisted of 4 members, photographs featured in the Bee Thing reveal that there were at least 2 other anonymous co-conspirators. Could there have been more? According to a 2009 article by Truth Alliance, an Israeli spy ring in America was busted shortly after 9/11, which revealed connections between the World Trade Center's art residency program and Mossad. Hanan Safferty was arrested by DEA agents in connection to the Israeli spy ring. What makes him stand out is that he was listed as being an art student who was a part of the World Views program, which was in the World Trade Center on floors 90 and 91 in the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council. Although he is not listed by Gelatin as a member of the Bee Thing, the listing of the identities of the other 14 students who were on floor 91 at the time was never released to the public. Neither was the total list of those involved in the stunt, which numbers at a minimum of 6. The article goes on to reveal that not only was the art residency program connected to Mossad, but the so-called art students also lived in very close proximity to known terrorists. The proximity of so many of the alleged art students in Hollywood, Florida, to the alleged mastermind of the attacks of September 11th should require no comment. Equally eye-catching is the frequency with which the alleged art students had such non-artistic gifts, such as backgrounds in explosive ordnance demolition and military special operations. Their intense interest in establishing contact with drug enforcement agents opens additional questions.
So it's a very narrow construction, what we built.
Were Gelatin and E-Team involved with an elaborate plot to destroy the Twin Towers? Combine this with other suspicious so-called maintenance events performed on the buildings leading up to September 11th, such as fireproofing, elevators, and electrical power downs, many of which required full evacuations of the towers, and you're left with more questions than answers. We know the terror attacks carried out on September 11th were self-inflicted wounds. Corrupt actors that have compromised segments of the U.S. government engineered the events to catalyze unconstitutional wars. The advent of the TSA, the passage of the Patriot Act, and newfound public support for surveillance and tyranny. False flag attacks are commonly used by the globalists who wish to bring about a new world order. Ordo ab chaos. Order out of chaos.
I'd like you to watch this here. This is the World Trade Center. It's a book by an artist group. So anybody who sees the book, he sees the concept of 3 here and the concept of 4, Freemasons, you know, to start with. So that's clear. And here they wrote a text, you know, it's handwritten. And this part is in German. I don't know how to do it. I just punch pause. Maybe you can read it. And the other part is in English. Yeah. And here it says, because they were Germanic, you know, and here they talk about the World Trade Center. I have to put on my glasses. It says here, they are on the 148th floor, stock. So the World Trade Center, and this is in 2000. They talk about conspirativa. Yeah, the word there. Conspiracy. Raubzügen, you know, like pillaging. Hiding things under their pullovers. Here. Here it says, versteckt unter ihren Pullovern. And in conspirative work, conspirative Arbeit. Conspirative Arbeit. You see that? Going into the World Trade Center. Yeah, so here it says in English the same thing. Where was it? Oh, boy. Here, the 148th floor. They smuggled things into the building, under their pullovers. There you go. They constructed a functional load-bearing balcony, you know, for the demolition. You know, there was so much asbestos, you know, in the World Trade Center. They had to destroy it anyway, you know. It would have been impossible, so they had to destroy it like this. It would have been too expensive. It's all about money, eh? Like in Switzerland, eh? The World Trade Center in New York. Everything top secret, yeah? Illegal, of course. That's what they were doing. Top secret, illegal in 2000. Just before the 9/11 happened. Here, say everything top secret and illegal, of course. Yes, of course, yeah, Swiss, eh? And hiding, like Swiss would do it, you know. Conspirational work. That's what it says. Conspirational work. Well, anyway. Yeah. So this is this. They were artists, like always hiding, like under art, like the headless women and all the art things, you know, I'm showing you. So this one, it was printed in 2001. And the name of the company is called Gelatin, you know, like plastic explosives, you know. 2 women, 2 men. There are 4 persons, yeah, like the concept of 4. I just showed that to you. Their name are Maria Ziegelbuck, which is a real funny name. It can't be their real name. Susanne Wimmer. Wimmer, it means to cry, you know, like in German. This is not their real name. Papyrus. Oh, there we go. Pharaoh. The ones who made the printing and all this, you know. And then there's a one with the Jewish name. Where is he again? Tex Rubinovich. Yeah, of course it's not a real name. It's Swissy, eh? And there are a lot of Swissies in Austria, in the west part of Austria. Forgot the name of it. So they were there in 2000. Here it says it all in English. In short, the work pinpoints to document in March 6, 2000 attempt by art students, yeah? There were no Mossads, you know? It's art students from Israel, from Switzerland, occupying studio space provided by the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council on the 91st floor of the World Trade Center, well, number 1. Well, why? So, yeah, Rubinovich, of course it's not his real name. So they made all the drawings here, you see? All the drawings, you know, for the demolition. 3, yeah, people, piggy, it's them, look like a cockroach, Swiss cockroach, eh? Yeah, I don't know, all the drawings from the World Trade Center. Yeah, they said aluminium profile, gummy, that's rubber, glass. They signed it all. Funny, eh? For an art student. Why do they do this? You know, it's more like an architect. FFFF, ficken, that means for fuck. That's what they did, you know, in the meantime. They even, you know, all the construction here of it. Look at it. Hey, Swiss, eh? Hey? I told you, octagon, they are behind it. You know, all the weights here. On this side, it's like 100,000 kilos weight, and this side is only, what is it, 10,000? No. Oh, students. Forget about it. They write it all down. They were architects, you know. They write it down, and they even put the demolition on the World Trade Center. It's all Swiss. It's octagon. Yeah. Whole octagon, yeah. They even put it in front of our noses. They even made a book about it for themselves, you know. Yeah. This is official. You can buy this, you know. Order it in the internet. Gelatin. Look at that. The balcony and 50 kilograms. The World Trade Center, all the pillars. Here, look, all the calculations for the demolition. Here they are. Only the man standing here. You see all the boxes? It says 88, it means Heil Hitler. And 18, it means Adolf Hitler. Nazism, the Swiss Nazi Templars. And actually it's not 88, apparently it's BB. So BB 18, as you can see here, is the name. They're all boxes, all card boxes. That's the name of a high explosive or the fuses. I don't remember. Yeah, so here, you see the World Trade Center. You see the air. They've made this before 9/11, folks. You saw it, 2000, Swissy. See the airplane coming in? Bang. World Trade Center. I just filmed that for you as well. You know, like in Strasbourg, you know, the building with the barcode on it, or the zip code, or whatever you call it. I don't even know. Here they're standing again here. 2000. All the boxes, you see? Why does an artist have all these explosive boxes there? And then, yo, I told you it's Swiss. Yeah, they talk about it. You can pause, eh? No. I don't know what they're all talking about. I read it through, but it's... They talk about demolition. Destroy it. Ah, it's my arse. It's like the Headless Women and all the other things I filmed. You're always like Isis, Horus and Seth, you know, and here they are. Look at all the boxes. You see here, this is the inverse pyramid, like in Auschwitz. Here too, it's all over. All these pyramids. That's why they took the picture like this. Look, it was going to be demolished. There's not even a ceiling anymore, you know. Asbestos. They didn't get the permission to do that. Hey, Swissy, the financer. You know, they're not Jews. They are Templars. They're not Austrians, as they say. Yeah, they're Swiss. And are Swiss and Austrian. You know, the open door, whatever it is. Yeah. Come on, folks. And this is the artwork to stand, you know, like on a balcony here. Oh, what an artwork, huh? Wow, you know. Black and white. Yeah, this is what they saw. Yeah. I don't know what they're doing here. What's it? A helicopter. They're here. And filmed each other like the people hanging out, you know. And they did that before, like the people hanging out, like, please rescue me, please, come on, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. Yeah, 9/11. Swissy. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What do you know? Here. More calculations, upside down or whatever, you know. Here there are again, love. The Swiss always talk about love, you know, love. Oh, we're so nice, we're Swissy. Gerhard Schemmel, what a name is this? They're not their real names. They talk about the B thing all the time, you know, plan B, yeah. They couldn't destroy it, destruct it, you know, they need a plan B. Or the Arabs did it, or the Jews did it. They talk about ficken, that means to fuck all the time. So they invited, they paid some prostitutes. Now look at these women, look at them. The prostitutes, she's got it written all over her thighs and her face, eh? Oh, yeah, all these boxes here. BB18. And oh, look at this one here. Look, it says what's that? No, like this. It says, "Here's your adult movie." You think that was there before? You know, it's like the Freemasons. You know, it's all about the aristocracy. You know, it's all about rape and fornication. Here it says 9/11, 191, 91 floor, Tower 1, 9/11. They made all the calculations here. Well, you got it, huh? Swissy. Gelatin. Well, check it out. It's a book, you see? It's a book. Yeah. It's a book. Here's your World Trade. Here's the scenario, the script of the World Trade Center. Here it says gelatin, the B thing, plan B. Swissy, we're gonna get rid of you, Swissy. Finished. So here you see the arrow, you know, what's funny about it? It says north, east, west, south. Normally the arrow is going to the north and here's to the south. Was that by accident? The direction the airplanes were slamming in from the north? I don't even know, but you can check it out. Just like BB-18, you can all check it out. I'm not even going to do it. I know the Swiss are behind it. I was there. When Swiss industrials, they talked about doing terrorist attacks in America. And here it says the Trojan box. Right? They brought the explosive in there, you know, with B inside, B, plan B. They say it here. They talk about the suspicious ambulance. Right? What is their ambulance? Oh. Swissy did it. They're all German names, you know. Yeah. Like a Trojan box, you know, like the Trojan horse, right? Bringing like in the internet, you know, like the Swiss Secret Service. They tried to put Trojans in me, you know, to put the explosives inside and the demolition stuff. They talk about the Trojan box. Anyway, that's Pharaoh. They fight us from the inside out, the aristocracy. You know, that's what they do. Trojan box. Suspicious ambulance. Just before 9/11. Nice Swissy. Real funny here with the arrow to the other side. 9/11. Watch my film, The Swiss Beast. Home of the Devil. Hey Swissy, you like it? So in the text they talk about knitgummi, you know, which is like plastic explosive, like you can mold. And here they talk about, in the German part, I can't find it all. Yeah, here's the word sabotage, you know, say. Yeah, sabotage. The sabotaging thing, the World Trade Center, which is here back in English for heavily for sabotaging, heavily for sabotaging, and held. Here it says held together with plasticine. Another word for the plastic explosives. It's like a mold, you know, just... Yeah, it says, sehr geheim, very secret. Here they are. The B thing, that's them. Right. Gelatin. It's, you know, the Nazis, they won the war. The Germans, they lost it, but the Nazis and the Swiss, they won the war. I hope it's not going to last 1,000 years, you know, as they call it, the 1000-year Reich, das 1000-jährige Reich. They won it with everything they stole and put in Switzerland and in Liechtenstein. Licht means the light, like in the Illuminati. It's an even more secret country. Within Switzerland, you might say. Yeah? They won the war. And Switzerland got immensely rich. The Knights Templars. This is the scenario for the World Trade Center. You know, for 9/11, they wrote the scenario like in any film. This is the script for it all. You can see that Hollywood does this, you know. Writing a scenario for any film, and it's handwritten, just like this here. They're so proud of it. They even, you know, they even show it here. All, you know. Here it says they talk about getting caught. You know, they don't want to get caught. Nobody. Gelatin is officially involved into the project. Yeah. If you want to know more about the B thing, you go to their website here, if it's still there. Now here it says the group Gelatin is comprised of 4 young men. Well, you saw the name of the women, the names. And you saw the Asian women, you know, because we all talk about, you know, ficken. Where is it again? Here, ficken. Here it says ficken. Bunch of Templar perverts, you know, Freemasons. Here too, it's that ficken. So the 4, here it says all over here, ficken. They were just having fun, you know, doing, they're so stupid, the people are so stupid, oh, ficken, got some prostitutes inside. So it says the company is comprised of 4 young men, which should be actually the concept of 4, which is us, the people. But 4 is also the base of a pyramid. So, you know, if you want to pull it or do a demolition, you know, you start at the base to put the plastics explosives on the base and it all falls together in itself. That's why they put there the company is comprised of 4 young men, you know, the number 4, the base, you know. They're hiding. The Nazis won the war. You can see their work.